Hello and welcome to episode 44 of Pacific Horseplayers right here on the HHH Racing Podcast. I am your host, Noah Meagher, joined by the crew. We got Jackson to my left and we got Ryan just below us as we're going to be covering the Pick Six, not the late Pick Six, the Pick Six on closing weekend Saturday. A lot of great races on Saturday and a lot of great races across the weekend down at the Seaside Oval to kind of wrap things up. I know we're a little bit heartfelt about that. I know we've been fortunate to have some great racing down there at Del Mar the last couple of months. Always sad to see it go, but we look forward to seeing it come back in November, and especially this year because we got it coming back to the Breeders' Cup once again. Before we get into the sequence, of course, you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. We've got our regular Power Picks tip sheet that has been doing very, very well. Of course, over the summer, our Saratoga and our Del Mar Power Picks, as Jackson can attest to, have done very, very well as well. Of course, you can go sign up for those. We get those weekly on Saturdays. You can go get 2 full tracks, ABC grid, spot plays, you name it. You can go sign up for those and find out more about our podcast at the website right down below, HHHRacingPodcast.com. And then I believe the last thing to plug is we've got our final Weekend Warrior show this Saturday. I believe it will be starting at 6:30 Eastern time. If you have any questions about the start time or the final show that we're going to be doing over the summer, direct your questions to Howard Kravitz because he knows a lot more about that stuff than I do. So I'll let him handle the riffraff and the questions about all that good stuff. But all that stuff's not important to us. We're just going to go ahead and get into the late pick six sequence. That's really gonna screw me up, Jackson. But I think we can go ahead and get into that. I guess we can go ahead and check in with you guys. How we doing in this Tate episode?
It's hot. It's real hot in this room. We're doing good.
Last couple days.
We're taking the heat and we're putting it into the picks for closing weekend at Del Mar.
There you go. Yeah, doing good. Kind of bummed it's the last weekend, of course, but it'll be bittersweet. So hopefully we can cash some winners. And like you said, Breeders' Cup's not that far away. We'll be back sooner than that.
It'll be here. It'll be here soon.
Yep.
It's the last show of the season, but it might be the first show that we've seen you not at work, Jackson.
Yeah, first one in a while, right? It's been I don't know. It's been several months. Old location, so hopefully a little bit better soon. Hopefully the Wi-Fi holds up, and yeah.
I think it might turn out to some good luck, as we'll find out in a few minutes here. We'll go ahead and get things kicked off. First race of the Pick Six. I'll get that up on the screen. You can see it right there. Pick Six starts at 4:08 Pacific time. It starts with the Grade 1 Del Mar Debutante Stakes, $300,000 purse. You got 2-year-old fillies going 7 furlongs on the main track. And, of course, you expect to see some Bob Baffert entrants in here. He's got 3 of them. Morning line favorite goes to the inside in the 1 Explora. Juan Hernandez. That one's at 8-5. Second choice, the 2 Himika for Kimura and Baffert at 2-1. And then the third choice is his third entrant, Bottle of Rogue, the 5 for Mikey Smith at 5-1. Let's see who we're going with to kick off the Pick Six. Let me get the picks up on the screen. I'm going 1-2-7. Ryan's going 1-7-2, and Jackson's going 2-1-6. Of course, we got to start with you, Jackson. You're going with the 2 Himika. I believe she started twice. She's won both times. And last time she kind of proved that she could come from off of it.
Yeah, not the most exciting betting race in the world. I just, between the 2 favorites, I thought Himika is a bit of a better price, and I thought she ran pretty well last time. I mean, that was a question mark for her as you pull up Kentucky Downs for some reason. But Himika, making her second start, didn't break great, was in between horses, made an early move, and then still won very, very comfortably in the end, one going away. So I was impressed by that. I like that she was able to overcome some adversity in there, whereas the rail horse has not, obviously. And she's drawn outside of her main rival. So I think there's things to like. She has an experience edge. It seems like a 2-horse race, right, guys? And I just think Himika is going to be a bit of a better price and has some things going for her.
Ryan, I think we would probably echo those sentiments, and maybe not in terms of a 2-horse race because you've got the 7 in second, but I would be not shocked if Baffert didn't win this race, but considering the resume that he has, especially this year, and the 2-year-old races in the past, it would be quite the upset. I think upset's a good way to put it.
Yeah, no doubt. Baffert has a stranglehold on this race, and I don't know how many times he's won it, but I'm sure it's a lot. I like Hamika, but I kind of looked into where JJ wanted to go. Honestly, for the top pick in here, I think that does speak a lot. He obviously works a lot of these horses in the morning. He rides them all in the afternoon, and he gets kind of first pick of where he wants to go. And I think Explora on debut really showed a lot. And obviously that was quick. It wasn't as fast as Hamika's debut, but we kind of saw Hamika come back out. And while she did that pretty easily, the number didn't come back super quick. So I don't know. I want to get the upside on Explora maybe. Either way, I mean, it's not a very creative betting race any way you approach it.
I thought Explorer was really, really good. I mean, she just kind of got the lead. I know she said some pretty easy fractions, but she did it super easy. And when she hit the top of the stretch, I mean, the question was just, how much was she going to win by? And it honestly could have been 7 or 8. I know Juan really didn't ask her much in the stretch. I know she was 1-5 that day, and there might not have been much in behind her. But I do think there's some real upside here. Drawing the rail is not ideal, but I think based on time form and what I've seen from the rest, she's probably the speed of the speed. So if she clears it, I don't think that's going to be too big of a worry. And I guess a worry would be the price with her. I think you could see some serious money go her direction. I'll keep it with you, Ryan, because you've got a little bit of a price in your exacta spot. You're going bourbon and ginger, excuse me. One on debut, as some of these other rivals did. She did it well. And you're hoping that she runs something better on the Saturday.
Yeah, I hope so. Obviously, it's going to need to take a step up to beat either of those two Baffets to the inside. But Mandela could only get one win so far at the meet, and this with this horse he won on debut, which isn't something he's necessarily super strong at. He typically kind of races his horses to being ready. But the fact this horse won nicely on debut, drew nicely to the outside. Want to give this one a look. Again, it's going to be tough to threaten those top two, but I do like that this one's had 4 works since the debut, including a bullet on September 2nd, 4 furlongs and 47 and change. So, hey, crazier things have happened, but I'll take one slight stab against one of the two Baffets here.
And I love it. She draws just a nice, cozy outside post. It seems like the 108 time form is going to get her pretty involved early. I mean, if she gets herself just off the one early on, I think she's got a big chance to upset. So I like the direction that you're going. Only other one that we got to talk about is the 6 Jackson. You've got her in third. She's coming out of maybe a little bit of a lesser race, but she kind of came from off of it, closed nicely. Seems like the added ground's going to help her as well.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd agree with the lesser race. I think they're probably about the same, honestly. I don't think either of those races were particularly strong, but she ran well, chased down a loose Baffert horse, going just 5 furlongs in that spot. That was pretty impressive of her to get up in that race. And look, I need someone in third. She seems logical enough. She can pass horses if they go too fast, which they probably will go pretty fast up front. And we see this 7 furlong field races fall apart quite often. So I think she's going to be the one that could pick up the pieces late and maybe round out a trifecta.
I like it. Race 6, I'm going 127. Ryan's going 172, and Jackson's going 216. Let me get this switched over so we can talk about the late pick 5, which is what we're typically used to talking about. There it is. Late pick 5 begins with the Del Mar Juvenile Phillies Turf Stakes. Somebody is ear raping me while I'm trying to talk. $100,000 purse, 1 mile on the turf for, once again, straight 2-year-old fillies. And we got a big field of 13. I'm not exactly sure if there's actually 13 in the body of the field. Maybe one of these two can correct.
13 in the body. I think rails are at 0, so 13 in the body.
Cool. Rails are at 0, like Ryan said. Morning line favorite goes all the way to the inside in the number 1. La Vie Lumiere. I think I may have nailed that. Close. With Kimura and Michael McCarthy at 7-2. Second choice in the 8, Queen Bay, Juan Hernandez, and Simon Callahan. As you can see by the morning lines, it is a very wide open race. And we're actually pretty similar. I'm a little surprised by this. I'm going 5-1-8. Ryan's going 5-1-7, and Jackson is going 9-5-1. Jackson, I won't throw it to you again. I'll throw it back to Ryan because he's got the winner in here. I'm a big fan of this horse. South Bay, Barrios, Yak-Teen, 6-1. Ryan, what do you like better?
Yeah, this horse won really nicely on debut, but more importantly, bred to be a turf router. The dam was a turf router. Gardenista. Omaha Beach has done really well with his turf progeny. 13-14%, whether you're looking at turf routes or turf sprints. Obviously, Hector Barrios sticks. You'll get a decent price. I don't know if 6-1 will be the price, maybe a little lower just because of the little red feather connections. But I do think this one's stretching out, second time out, makes a lot of sense. And La Vie Lumiere, again, don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but hasn't run in a while. might want to give that one, but certainly bred to like the 2 turns as well. But I thought South Bay stretching out it was a professional debut, so I think stretching out should be no issue.
And I want to keep it with South Bay because I actually like her quite a bit. I know, Jackson, you said something in our little group chat earlier today, and as we're filming this on Thursday at about 5:20 Eastern, you said something about a play of the meet. I don't know if this horse is of that quality, but I've been talking this horse up for a long, long time. I was very impressed by her debut. She didn't break all that great, made kind of a middle move to get a little more engaged, and then even more of a middle move to kind of get just within the leaders at the top of the stretch. She went by the one who was in front of her with ease. She was really, really green in the stretch and was on the wrong lead. She switched leads, and the horse that ran second, I believe, is Hypergamy for Doug and Shane, and they, I think, had some high expectations for her. And I know it says a length and a quarter, but I thought she beat her pretty handily, galloped out well. I was impressed by everything I saw on the debut. And 6-1, I mean, I'm going to be maybe bringing some truckloads, not quite to Del Mar, but I'll actually be at Kentucky Downs on Saturday, so I might have to throw some Benjamins in my suitcase. Jackson, what'd you like?
No, I just echo everything you guys said. I thought she was maybe even a little green in the stretch too, trying to finish off that race. Looked like she was still trying to figure things out a little bit. So she's pretty opposite here. I don't think you're going to get 6-1. I have a tough time believing the Morning Line favorite is going to be the 8. I think if they made the Morning Line favorite that way.
It's a 1.
Was it the 1? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, she'll take money. I don't think she's going to be 6-1.
Well, we'll keep it with you because you got a bit of a price in here, which I think is a good way to go. Last time was a first timer for Jonathan Thomas, ran second in a pretty decent field. Debuted her going long too. So I think you naturally have to see some progression here, and you're getting 12-1.
Yeah, I wanted a bit of a price in this race. I thought it was pretty tough, pretty wide open, and it just didn't want to settle for anyone too short on top. So I thought she ran fine first time out. You know, she got herself in a good position, and then just couldn't quite quicken with the rest with the eventual winner. But she was always in a good spot. And you know, horses from this barn, the Jonathan Thomas barn, they're just so much better second time out than they are first time out. And you know, she picks up her Spoli. I think it's a huge sign that they think this horse is going to run well. She's working well since then. She worked out with As Catch Can, who's a stakes runner for Jonathan Thomas, older stakes runner. I believe he's running at Kentucky Downs this weekend, maybe, or Cologne.
I think you might be right about that, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's a good sign too, that you know they're working her with good older horses. That probably tells you they think a lot of this filly. So I think she's going to take a big step forward. She's going to get herself in good position from that post, and it's just a matter of if she's good enough or not.
And I feel like the money, if people are going to bet somebody out of that race, it might go here just because this horse showed a wicked turn of foot, kind of came from last. And the 9 was maybe a little bit more involved, made the first early move, and then kind of flattened out a little bit. So I think if you're hoping that that 12-1 will stick, I think the hope will be there on Saturday. We'll go back to you, Ryan, because we've actually got this Morning Line favorite. All of us have her in the top 3, and that's the number 1. I'm not going to try and repeat that name, but it was clear early on that she had some talent, and McCarthy knew that she was pretty talented in her own right. She has been off for a little while, which I'm not quite sure what to do that. It kind of seems like when you get these 2-year-olds on the track, you tend not to want to stop and start them. Maybe she had an issue, not quite sure. But the one thing I don't necessarily have a worry about is she is just super big physically, and I don't think the 2 turns is really going to be a problem here.
I definitely don't think the 2 turns is going to be a problem. And as far as her having that time off, she's worked consistently every 6 to 8 days since that last race, which makes me think that maybe this was just the target. Maybe they wanted to let her grow up a little bit and then, point to this spot. It's a very logical spot. End of Del Mar. You get the juvenile turf fillies here. So maybe this is kind of what the game plan was. I'm not sure, obviously, but drew really well. And if this horse improves or even just runs those same numbers she was running in the spring up at Santa Anita, she's going to be really tough to beat. She's obviously by City of Light, going to love the 2 turns, going to love turf. So very logical horse. I think 7-2 would probably be pretty fair. I just think that she's going to get bet down a little bit from that line.
Yeah, and you might actually be right about that because I don't know how many races there were. I don't know the condition book like the back of my hand. I don't know how many 2-year-old filly 5 furlong turf races there were other than maiden races because she had already broken her maiden at that point.
That's a good question.
I'm not exactly sure if there was really anywhere for her to run. I mean, I guess they could have gone out of town, but if they're looking at somewhere like the juvenile fillies turf, they might as well stay, right?
My understanding was she was going to run in the Sorrento after that maiden race. Now, obviously, she hasn't missed time because she's been working consistently. So I don't know if the plan just changed or I don't know what happened. But originally, the plan was to go to Sorrento after that race. So
Okay. Well, we'll keep it with you, Ryan, because you've got this horse. I was texting Shane earlier. He told us that this horse, if they do draw in on Friday, which you can see she's entered, or she's cross-entered, excuse me, in the sixth race tomorrow. I think she is the first AE. So if she gets in, Shane said she'd run there. If she doesn't, you'd probably see her end up on Saturday. You got the 7 1/3, I got the 8 1/3. But what would you like about Hypergamy?
Yeah, I mean, a horse can certainly take a step up second time out. I know maybe Doug's been a little bit cold during this part of the meet, but he's been very streaky throughout this entire meet, and I think he can pick things up closing weekend. They have some really live entries, and this being one of them. Finished behind my top pick in South Bay. I think if, these fillies, they can step up, step down, race by race so extremely. So I think our boy Ayuso is aboard. Could just sit the right kind of trip. The pace comes back to her. Excuse me. I think she's a logical type. I think she'll set the right kind of trip. I just don't know if she's going to have enough horses that come home.
And I've got the 8 1/3 Queen Bay. I'd be a little worried that she'd get maybe bet just because JJ ends up here. She won early on and she did it pretty well. I don't know all of what was in behind her, but she's another one where she was kind of running in those maiden races at the end of the Santa Anita meet, and then they decided not to run her right away or stretch her out right away. So they've given her some time coming back again, kind of a similar vibe as the 1, but I think she's got some talent. So I've got her in 3rd. And then the last thing, Jackson, the 5 actually won at Kentucky Downs and the 4 was nowhere. So that'll be all right for us. Little thing that we're in on the.
By the time people are watching this, we're playing a big Twin Spires contest. So we're in contention, but we have nothing locked up yet at all. So need some things to go on.
Well, we'll go ahead and move on to the next race. I'm going 5-1-8. Ryan's going 5-1-7, and Jackson's going 9-5-1. Race 8. Let me get that up on the screen. Race 8 is an allowance optional claiming 50,000, purse of 81,000. They're going a mile on the main track. Morning line favorite is a horse that pretty much broke my heart last time, and the number 2 Lyle's Song for Fresu and Glatt at 5-2. Second choice is just to his outside in the 3 Del Mar Jerry for Maldonado and Miotti. And then third choice has split between the 1 Wayne the Brain, the 5 Speedy Wilson, and the 8 Clouseau. Let's see who we're going with in race 8. I'm going 2-5-9. Ryan's going 3-2-6, and Jackson's going 5-2-9. Jackson and I see it very similarly. We're both 2-5-9, just in a different order. So we'll stick it with him. I know he's got a big opinion on this horse on Saturday. And that's the Calbred Speedy Wilson for my boy Ayuso and Phil D'Amato. 6-1, Jackson. What do you like?
Yeah, good race here. And it looks like there's going to be a lot of speed in this field. You got Lyle Song, blinkers going on and very quick from the inside. You have horses like Del Mar Jerry, very, very fast, coming off a 99 buyer. Miracle Mark is very quick, as is Mining District towards the outside. So I think he's going to be getting the pace he needs to come running from off of it last time, as he's been doing lately. But he's also been running in sprints, right? So he's not going to be coming from dead last. He'll probably be in that second flight, which is, I think, probably where you want to be. And he's done nothing but improve in all 5 of his career starts, getting faster and faster and faster with each and every start. And finally going 2 turns for the first time. I haven't seen anything that suggests he won't be able to handle it. First time Lasix, working really well. The last race has been productive. 2 horses have come back to win already. And the third horse had a lot of trouble. So I think that was a live race. He's coming out of. He's working really well. I think there's a lot of things to like about this horse. And if he gets his trip, I think it's going to be very, very tough to hold off in the late stages.
Yeah, and I pretty much echo everything you said. I think the one thing I was kind of surprised by, because after I saw that race, I wasn't so sure how this kind of 3-year-old Calbred group was. And then I saw Shea Brennan run, what was that, last week? And he was good. Yeah. And I think certainly flatters the form of Speedy Wilson. It seems like second off the bench, it seems like he should improve. Addition of Lasix isn't going to hurt. I think there are a lot of things going for him. And hopefully you get somewhere around that 6-1, because he does like it here at Del Mar. And I think that is kind of definitely a feather in his cap.
I wonder if that was Ayuso's first Del Mar 6 win, because he seemed particularly fired up about.
Was he really?
Yeah, he gave a couple fist bumps after the wire.
Might have been. I probably gave fist bumps for him. I don't remember.
Even though you didn't have money on him, because you just never do for some reason.
Ryan, Del Mar Jerry. I guess my first question is, where the hell did that race come from? Because he just ran a 99 after he had run 5 furlongs on the turf and stretched out to a mile on the main track. I know the horse that ran second in that race last time was Ghazali, who I actually liked quite a bit. And I thought he ran his ass off. He ran a 92, but he couldn't even get within 4 lengths of this horse. So I guess if we see it again, these others might be running for second.
Look, I get why he's 3-1 on the morning line. I don't know that that's what he'll go off at. I think he might actually drift up. But either way, I know that there's a decent amount of speed in here, but I think he's still the fastest of that speed if he goes out and repeats that effort. The track, I don't think, was abnormally fast on August 8th. I think he just happened to run an absolute hole in the wind. So I'll give him one more look. Again, I think his price is going to drift up, and I can't trust the 2-horse. I know I picked Lyell Song in second, but after that last performance, I don't know how I could ever put money on that horse again. But either way, I mean, Delmar Jerry really just kind of wowed last time out. I'll take a flyer that he can repeat that effort one more time.
Guys, I'm going back to the well. Going back to the well with Lyle Song. I liked him a lot last time, and I'm not. I guess the blinkers could maybe get him a little more forward early in the race, but I think the main point in putting these blinkers on is just so that he's not so goofy in the stretch. Because I mean, I thought who was the 6th that he was running up against? Was it
Privman?
Yeah, I mean, Privman ducked to the left and almost hit the rail, and at that point, Lyle Song was about 1-20 to win that race, and then Privman fights back, I guess. I don't know if it was just the case of this horse was being super, super goofy, because he did kind of the same thing against Indispensable 2-back. But the blinkers come on. I'm hoping that kind of straightens things out. Seems like he could get another good trip. I know there's a decent amount of speed, but I hope Freystu's kind of just got him right off. And in a difficult race, I'm going to go with a horse I liked before, and I'm hoping with the wide openness. I'm not sure if that's quite a word for a journalist like myself. I'm hoping I get somewhere close to that 5-2, because I think I'd be willing to go back to the well and make a little win.
In this race that's just so wide openness, I just didn't want to take the favorite. It's a little too short for me in a wide openness race. So,
well, I was going to throw it back to you, but I don't think I can do that. I'll go back to Ryan, because he's got Firmus in third, 12-1 on the morning line. He came out of a pretty decent race. I know there was a horse that came out of this race that Jackson was a big fan of. What was that, Sunday of last week? And I think he might still be running. But anyway, Firmus, second off the bench, Baffert, Juan Hernandez, 12-1. You don't see that often, Ryan.
You don't, and that's kind of what led me to pick this horse in third. That was the first time in the barn of Bob Baffert last time out in that 6 furlong event. I think this horse is going to appreciate going a little bit longer. 3-year-old facing older, which, that's kind of why I didn't want to pick this horse higher than third. But improved and ran a career best last time out, first time in the barn for Bob. Obviously went from 2 to 3, so took a step forward. Kind of had that running line that hints that maybe 2 turns is going to be better. No idea what this horse's running style is going to be when they stretch out, but you get JJ and Bob Baffert, and I'm willing to find out at 12-1. So I'll take a bit of a flyer on that one.
And Jackson, the other horse that we got to talk about, I'm surprised you actually have this horse in the mix. I like his chances a little bit, maybe not on the win end, but certainly underneath. That's a 9 better than gold. 20-1 just kind of seems like a logical horse to kind of pick up the pieces if things go awry up front.
Yeah, I think I actually bet him last time at 31-1, hoping to get the big pace set up, and he actually did. He just didn't run particularly great in there. But they're third start off the bench, blinkers are coming back off. I just think there's a lot of speed in here again. Like, I won't be surprised if there's 4 or 5 of them going way too fast up front, and he can come running late and pick up the pieces. Can he win? Probably not, but I think he can route a trifecta for sure.
No, I'm with you, and I think that's a good way to put it. I'm going 2-5-9. Ryan's going 3-2-6, and Jackson's going 5-2-9. Next race is another graded stakes race. I'll bring it up on the screen. Is the Grade 2 John C. Maybe 5:38 local times. Purse of $250,000. We've got older fillies and mares going 1 1/8 on the turf, and I'll scroll down to see who the morning line favorite is, and it is the number 4 Maduro, coming off a nice win for Rispoli and Urton at 5-2. Second choice goes to the, I guess, Woodbine Invader, the Canadian Invader. In the 7, Give Me Another, the South African bred 5-year-old mare for Juan Hernandez and Graham Motion. She's at 3-1 on the board. Let's see who we are going with in this year's John C. Maybe. I'm going 2.57. Ryan's going 7.49, and Jackson's going 4.72. Ryan, you're going with the Invader. Supposedly, from what we had heard, back in the spring, this was supposed to be a complete monster. I don't know if it's necessarily panned out to be that, but in terms of what she's going to face on Saturday, there's a chance that we might see that.
Yeah, she should take a step up, as she's facing arguably the easiest group that she's faced to this point. I think if you go back to her two firm turf efforts, which I think, again, is kind of why they wanted to bring her over here, but she's had good efforts on all South African tracks that she used to run on. But those two in the Hillsborough and the Modesty Stakes, those are two strongest. Then she faced yielding turf in that bog at the New York. I'm willing to scratch a line through that. She ran okay on the good listed turf course at Woodbine. I think 1.1 miles is a great distance for her. She's never been worse than second in 4 tries. So I know, I'm kind of chalking out in this spot, but I do think that this is kind of the class of the field. And I respect the others in here that have kind of been stabled out west, but Jackson can attest that Graham Motion only comes out here when he has a serious runner. So I think in a stake race like this, Give Me Another makes a lot of sense.
And Jackson, I mean, she's got to get a shot as any, especially in a race where it doesn't seem like there's a ton of pace. I know she was pretty disappointing after she got a pretty glacial pace last time in the Canadian, but she could get a similar setup. Is it crazy to think that I'll be using her based off of what a particular individual says on Saturday or doesn't say?
No, not crazy. Probably good idea. Probably a good idea. The problem I have with her is what you mentioned. How did she lose last time? I mean, she was 1-9 the entire way around there, and she got beat on the square. Very, very. It was disappointing for sure. Now maybe Ryan's right, and she just needs a firmer turf course. But I don't know. Is she going to be? I want to ask you guys. Do you think she's going to be on the lead in this race? Because the lead is probably hers for the taking if they won it. But she also should have won last time on the lead. So do you think they take her off the pace again on Saturday?
I think Juan just kind of plays the break. I could see her anywhere. I don't think she'll be on the lead, but I think she will be close.
I know it's crazy to say that a race earlier in the meet would affect this, and it's a completely different horse. But we were there when Heredia, it was a very, very similar murky pace scenario, and Juan was riding that day for Graham Motion. And we could see in the paddock, Motion had his assistant. It was a female. I wasn't super familiar with who she was. But you could tell that she basically went over to Juan and said, if they don't go, just take control. And that's exactly what she did. And that's actually a race that is kind of a common race, especially with some of these, and one of the horses that I've kind of got in the mix. But Jackson, we'll keep it with you because you guys are interested in the 4 Medoro. I've got others that I find a little more appealing at prices. I'm not super sure she's maybe as good as some of these other older horses, but maybe she is, and maybe I'm giving her a short shrift.
I just think she's pretty logical in here. I couldn't find anything too creative in this spot. She's an improving 4-year-old. She's paired up the bio. And look, she's done it multiple times and always taken that step forward. I don't see why she can't do it again in here. That last race was pretty impressive. She disposed of that field very, very easily. And she's arguably the most forwardly placed horse in the race. And she doesn't need to lead either. So she can go to the front if she wants to. If someone else really wants to go, she's going to sit right off of her. I just think there's plenty to like about her. She seems very obvious in here, and I have a lot of interest in trying to beat her at in 5 or 2. I think it's a very fair price on her. She's very likely to run well.
I'm just worried she might be a little bit lower than that because I know the 7 probably should get bet. I'm not super sure that people will kind of go that direction, especially with how well Ert's doing. She's already won at the meet, yada yada. Likes to hear at Del Mar. But Ryan, you got anything to comment on?
This horse closed like a train last time out. I think it was like 22.7. I love seeing that. You got to stretch it out to go in the 9 furlongs where she's had plenty of success. Jackson mentioned she's improving. So I get it. I just want to go in the kind of, outside invader who's faced a lot better horses, given Medoro faced She Feels Pretty 2 back. So I guess she's held quite the nice run line of her own.
I mentioned Heredia, who actually won the yellow ribbon back at the beginning of August. And we actually talked about this race a couple episodes ago, whatever that was, about a month ago. And I actually didn't really like Public Assembly all that much. I know you guys were bigger fans of her than I was. I like her, especially at 6-1. I thought she ran just fine. I mean, it was one of those races, and we were talking about it. Something similar could happen here on Saturday where there just wasn't much pace on at all. I mean, they went almost 25 to the first quarter, almost 50 to the half, almost where they went over 114 or not 114, 114 for the 6 furlongs, and Juan just said, have at it, and went straight to the lead, never looked back. And there were a couple other horses that I thought got some pretty good trips, including I believe, is Hang the Moon the 9, Ryan? Is that who you have in third?
Yes.
I thought she got just as good of a trip as you could imagine. And it was one of those races where I was kind of spot on about Hang the Moon, but I was very, very wrong about Public Assembly. But just back to the Public Assembly, if she's anywhere close to 6-1, I think that's a pretty decent value, considering she's got races at Santa Anita that kind of fit. Kind of talked about the Gamely where she got a weird trip and just kind of didn't fire that day. Last time she was kind of up against it. So second off the layoff, stretch out back to 9 furlongs. I'd be looking at her as a bet in here. But Ryan, I quickly mentioned Hang the Moon, who I don't know. I didn't get her last time. I don't necessarily get her here, especially with the wide post, but I guess she could probably win.
Yeah, I mean, if somehow there's some pace in here, she's probably going to sit the right kind of trip. I'm just, 5-1's fair enough. She won this race last year over Anisette and was it Didia?
Yeah,
the Nacho horse. Yeah. I mean, given neither of them really showed up, and I think we all still remember watching that race. But without going too much into that rabbit hole, I think second off the layoff, she can improve. She's a 5-year-old. She's going to have to get a little bit better, but wanted to take a bit of a shot.
Jackson, I'll leave it to you to wrap up the conversation on this race. Anything you got?
No, I mean, to me, it felt like it was a 4-7. I had a tough time making cases for the rest, just based on the pace scenario. One of those two is probably going to be in front, and you can make a case they also have the best kick in the race. So if one of them gets loose, they're going to be tough to beat.
I actually forgot I had this horse in the mix. Hopeful, who I know you guys liked a lot last time.
Someone did.
She didn't necessarily run to expectations. I know she was favored that day. But just the fact that they bring her back into this spot, I feel like she's got to be doing pretty well. We all saw how impressive the race was when she won, basically first time in the States. I know she had kind of been in California for a while, but she was wide and she made a super run that day. And then just was a little disappointing last time. Now I know it's Kent. I'm not a huge fan of horses that Kent gets on. But it's just a really, really fuzzy race. And races like this are the races that Kent wins. So I've got her in second. I might even like her a little bit more if Kent wasn't on. But I think she's one that just because she was so disappointing last time, there are others that are a little more proven. She's going to get dismissed. You might even get double digits on her. So I think she's another one you can maybe consider underneath. But we can go ahead and move on to the next
I'll just say she was entering a Pacific Classic day. She got stuck on the AEs. I don't think this was the target. I'm not saying she can't win. Just saying I don't think this was the initial goal.
Agreed.
That's good to know. I'm going 2-5-7. Ryan's going 7-4-9, and Jackson's going 4-7-2. Penultimate race begins a very, very difficult late pick. $5 late double. $5 late double begins with an allowance optional claiming for $20,000. Purse of $81,000. We've got older males going 6.5 furlongs on the main track. And the morning line favoritism, actually, this is the first time I'm seeing this. It goes to the 6, Catman Sue for Freysu, and a new acquisition for our boy Dougie Fresh. He's at 5-2. Second choice is the 5, Titanic Thompson for Juan Hernandez and Steve Miotti. I'm going 5-6-2. Ryan's going 5-6-1, and Jackson's going 8-5-10. Who went first last time? I can't remember.
Ryan did.
Ryan did? All right, well, perfect, because Jackson's kind of the odd man out. He's got the 8, Jarama, or David Cohen, Peter Miller. Peter Miller was quite hot to start the meet, especially during the first couple weeks. I don't know the exact stat, but I saw something along the lines of this stat the other day. Miller has been about 6% over the last 30 days, which is not ideal. Obviously, that I would never tell you to try to talk you off a pick like an 8-1 shot, but just something that I thought people should keep in mind. But you're going with this 8 horse anyways, Jackson. What do you like about him?
Yeah, just another. We talked about the bias on opening day for a few different shows now, and it's another horse that was stuck on the inside the entire time on that opening day race. I mean, he was just glued to it forever. Dueled through some fast fractions. Just got a little tired late while he was running through that quicksand, and I think you want to be a little forgiving of that effort because, first of all, the race's second and third back are pretty good. They make him quite a fit in this spot if he's able to get back to that form. I also think it's a good sign that Meagher claimed him from that race, and now they put him in a race where he's protected. They're not putting him back in a claiming race. They're putting him in a spot where it's a big sign of confidence for this horse. He's going from being drawn inside of all the speed, now he's drawn outside of all the speed. He's not even neatly tight. I mean, both of his wins came from just off of it. I think he's going to get that trip in here, and he's going to be a bit of a price in here. I think there's plenty to like about an 8-1 shot in a race that seems pretty wide open.
Yeah, and it seemed like those two races, 2 and 3 back, that certainly fit in here. It did a little bit better just from coming off of it. And I think there's a decent amount of speed in here. I know the 5's pretty quick and maybe could be the speed of the speed, but if somebody goes with the 5, especially with the cozy outside post, I think you're going to get a good trip regardless. So we'll just see if the step up in class and the switching conditioner could maybe put him over the top and get him in the winner's circle. Ryan, we've got the 5, who I am quite shocked that this horse isn't the morning line favorite. He had no chance to get the lead with the 9 to his outside last time and got put in a tight spot several times. He was favored that day. I'm going to basically excuse the effort. And then 2 back, I know Jackson's favorite. He just brought it up. He was inside the whole time. So I think he's got a good chance on Saturday, and obviously you do too.
Yeah, I do. And you mentioned he was inside the entire time on opening day, 2 back, where he still, he ran well. So looking at this, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. It's so hot in this room. I'm hoping he's the speed of the speed in this spot. He will have a chance to get to the lead and hopefully take them a long, long ways. I know we're going 6.5, and he kind of failed going 6 and going 5.5, but sometimes stretching that speed out, you can kind of manage it a little bit more. He's got some back races, given they were on turf to get back to. He is quick. I think, JJ can have some intention out of there, get to the lead and take him the whole way.
I like it, and I pretty much, agree with everything you said. Hopefully, Juan's able to get the lead. I think he's probably going to have an easier time getting the lead in this race than he did last time. I think the question is probably, whether he's able to sustain that lead and if others kind of press him, especially around the far turn. We've got the 6, the morning line favorite. I know, Jackson, you've got the 5 in second, but I'll throw it back to you, Ryan. Morning line favorite, Catman Sue. First off the claim for Doug. Freysu hops aboard. He beat a pretty decent horse in 32 Chunk last time, who was a big favorite that day. And obviously he can come back and fire again, hoping for 3 for 3 at Del Mar.
Yeah, I mean, he beat Way Teffer last time. He gets claimed, gets protected against state breds now. So this one's a very logical one. 2 for 2 at Del Mar, runs his best races over this surface. So certainly a strong contender for win honors. I just want to kind of go in a different direction, but this is one I'll be using on all my tickets because, I mean, off that last race, everybody else is running for second. Yeah,
and Jackson, you've got no idea who probably would be a bit of a presser, I would assume, in this race. Got the Bug Boy Chavez. This horse is in for the tag. I'm not sure if that's just because of conditions or whatnot. You got him in third.
Yeah, he's a little interesting. The August 17th card was another day. I think all the dirt races were on the lead, on the inside. We haven't had any running backs yet too much to confirm that, but it was a day I noticed, and he was always outside in that race. Actually, I think a couple horses came out of that race to already come back and win. That was El Diablo Rojo came back and won last week, and then Nation also came back and ran pretty well in the same race. So the race has come back productive already, and drawn outside the other speed. He's going to be stalking. Things to like about this horse. He's probably more of an underneath type for me, just because I think the 5 and 8 are going to be very tough in here. But he's one I'm a little interested in.
Yeah, and Ryan, we've got the 1 and the 2 in third, respectively. I think the 2 is probably more of an underneath type for me. But what's your feeling on the 1 as you've got Brunch and Crunch in third at 6-1?
Yeah, this horse got bet down to favoritism last time out, and I like the way this one finished off that race. So I think he can logically take another step forward against winners. Obviously, it's a big step up. You do the rail first time facing horses that have won races before, so that's a big step up. So that's why I couldn't pick this horse higher than third, but I certainly think this one has a shot. Definitely going to save ground. If that pace does come back to him, this one might be making that first move.
I wonder if Lezcano is going to maybe be a bit more aggressive from the inside, because I know last time when he broke the maiden, he did not break very well at all.
He's been off slow in all 3 of his career starts.
Yeah,
he has not broken well.
It seems like if he does break well, they might maybe try to get a little bit more involved from the inside, and I kind of hope they do, because if I'm a fan of the 2, I would kind of want things to heat up a little bit. This is just a classic route to sprint angle. Been running a mile, cutting back to the 1 turn here on Saturday. He's got some decent numbers, both on turf and dirt, which it seems like these Dan, is it Ascaret? I know he's always got kind of some sneaky horses that run well in the meet. Oh boy. And I use a House of Ward, which obviously is as big of a plus as it gets. So I've got this one in third. I think he's actually 0 for 12 on the dirt surface, but he's got a ton of thirds and seconds. So just your typical underneath play for my horse.
I have a question for you, Noah, because I just saw the stat that Ius was won 15 races. So how many of those 15 did you have a win wager on him? Because you've just been hyping him up for all 9 shows we've done this
I would say is either 2 or less.
Just ask.
It might even be 1.
You're the biggest fan, but I don't think you cashed very, very few tickets on him. He's done well.
I've been looking for horses that I really, really like that he's on, and I just can't find him. And then when he rides horses that I don't like,
he moves horses up,
which in theory should be a win-win, but I just can't help. I don't know. I just something about it. I just can't line up with him. I need the stars to align.
He just moves horses up. You got to trust him.
Maybe it's just one of those situations where like he's on a horse and I really like him and I bet him and then it gets me into the BCBC. Something like that. You never know. That would be awesome.
That'd be great.
But we'll move on to the last race.
That'd be fantastic.
5-6-2. Ryan's going 5-1.
But you qualify for the BCBC because of a big push on Armando Ayuso when he comes through for you. I'll never give you a hard time about you not betting him again. But I just don't see that happening.
I'm gonna try to do that in the upcoming months. Last race on Saturday, race 11, allowance optional claiming 50,000, another purse of 81,000, mile on the turf, and we've got 3, 4, and 5-year-old fillies and mares. Morning line favorite goes to the 7 Wordplay for Rispoli and Mullins. She's at 3-1. Second choice all the way to the outside in the 12. The best is yet to be for Fresu and D'Amato. She's at 4-1. Then the third choice is also a D'Amato runner in the number 10 Transcending for Juan Hernandez and the aforementioned Phil D'Amato at 6-1. There are picks for the last race. We're going 3 different directions. I'm going 7-1-12. Ryan's going 6-7-12, and Jackson's going 2-7-12. So pretty similar. We've all got the 12 in there somewhere. We've actually all got the 7 in there. But 3 different top picks as I'll go back to Jackson to talk about the 2 Yellow Sundress for my old friend Kent DeSormo, Mark Glatt, sitting at a nice 12-1. Would you like?
Yeah, I think our picks reflect how tough this race was. I thought it was very difficult. If you can get around the 7, who I think we're all going to talk about a little bit. I went to the inside horse with Yellow Sundress. I just think she's going to get a pretty good trip from that inside post. She's always been a horse that does her best work just from off of it. And I can really envision her getting that pocket trip that works so often right here at Del Mar. And, most of her sprints are pretty good. She's never really got a great setup in any of those races, and she's always run pretty well. And then last time, she just seemed the 5 furlong seemed a little sharp for her. She never really was able to quicken as well as you would have hoped for a 5 furlong turf sprint, and she galloped out well. I think getting to a mile is going to be good for her. It'll be better for her than the 5 furlongs was. It's definitely a question mark, but if she is able to get that good pocket trip that she's done in the past, I think she could, have a good chance in here to upset this field at a price.
No, even before that race, I feel like those kind of high 70s buyers fit pretty well, especially with a favorite like Wordplay, who I know she's kind of been a little bit more reliable the last couple of races. But before that, her track record was that she was not very trustworthy at all. Maybe we've kind of seen a different side of her, and that's a little bit why I've got her on top, just because I think she's just kind of the horse to beat in here. But I think if you're going in a different direction,
has she turned a corner, or is she? Because her numbers haven't got faster. So has she turned a corner, or she just found fields that she's just better than?
Yeah. No, I think that's a good question to ask. And I mean, if you're handicapping this card and playing, especially some bets like the pick 3 and the double, you're going to have to find out an answer for yourself. Ryan, you've got the 6 on top. That's Delightful Laura. She went wire to wire last time with the Bug Boy. But gets Sheriff's main man, Hector Barrios, on top, hoping for improvement off of the win last time.
Yeah, definitely going to have to take a step up. This is a big step up, especially against the horse to her outside, which is Wordplay that we all have a good amount of respect for. I just hope that, this one took a substantial step forward since the brief freshening from the spring at Santa Anita. Maybe one, really likes Del Mar. Not a lot of horses did a whole lot of running behind her, I guess would also be important to say. But she went fast early and she was able to hang on late. Maybe she just kind of stretches this field out and puts everybody else in chase mode. I might be getting too creative trying to beat wordplay here, seeing as we all have her in the top 3, and that's pretty much that and the 12. Wordplay looks like far and away the horse to beat, but I want to take a bit of a shot with a horse doing something different and coming off a nice win.
It seems like she probably should be, right? And Jackson makes a good point. It's not really like she's getting any faster. And actually, this might be the first time that's not the first time I'm seeing it, but I'm realizing that the time form gave her a really, really low number last time, which I guess makes sense because she was just off a slow pace. She just kind of beat up on a field that was pretty inferior that day. And she kind of did the same thing 2 back. So like I said, I think it's a question that you've kind of got to ask yourself. There might be some other favorites that you can lean on in the first and second legs of the pick 3. But I think a lot of people, when they play those bets, they just kind of try to get through the first 2 and take a shot with someone in the last, like a favorite like this. And maybe that might not be the smartest scenario. We've got some others to talk about. Let's go to the outside, and I'm going to throw it back. I'm going to throw it back to you, Ryan, because Jackson and I have some duties to take care of. But you're going with the best is yet to be. Obviously, we've all got her in 3rd, actually. And I think we all kind of see that she was pretty good last time.
Yeah, she was. She finished that race really well. I don't know why she was so far back going a mile and 3/8 when she was closer up, going the mile and 1.8 journeys. But either way, she finished that race really well, and maybe Fracey just had a good beat on the pace because they did go fast, and the pace did kind of come back to him towards the end there. So, look, she had a little bit of trouble, so I'm willing to excuse that. That was her first start in just over 2 months, so it wasn't a super long layoff, but maybe this is the spot where she just kind of takes another little jump forward, and I think she has a little bit of upside there. Again, she had a little bit of traffic. She closed off well. She galloped out really strongly. So I want to give this one a shot. 4-1, I think, is fair. And then the cutback, I think she'll have plenty of foundation. So I'm hoping she's a little bit closer, like she was 2 and 3 back at Santa Anita. And I think if she is, that's going to really emphasize that kick for home when she turns at the top of the lane.
Yeah, I think so too. And like I had mentioned, I think that last race was pretty good. She kind of, it wasn't necessarily her coming out party, but it was the best number that she had run since he had been here in the States. Fracey hops back aboard, which I think is a plus. And I think she's got basically as good a shot of anyone if the 7 is a little more questionable of a favorite, as we assume. But we'll move on to best bets. I'm going 7-1-12. Ryan's going 6-7-12, and Jackson's going 2-7-12. Best bets, I'll start with you, Ryan. You're going with a double starting in race 8. You're going with a double 3 with 7. So floor is
That's
yours.
right. Del Mar Jerry's gonna take him all the way again. He's going to just freak over this Del Mar dirt. He's gonna get the job done over an inconsistent Lyell song, although among some others, that's a good field. But I think Del Mar Jerry can get it done. And that's gonna go right into Give Me Another, who I think is just the class of the field, and the John C. Maybe. I think she's just faced so much better. I think she finally gets a little bit of class relief, and JJ Hernandez is just gonna be able to play the break just right. So if she needs to go to the lead and take them wire to wire, I'm sure that's what she can do. If she can sit the pocket. She can sit all the trips pretty much that could happen here. And I feel confident that Saturday is her day.
I like it. Good luck with your best bet, Jackson. I'll throw it back to you because I think we've got everything pretty much taken care of. You're going with a win bet in race 8. You talked about how much you like Speedy Wilson and hoping that you're getting close to that 6-1.
Yeah, I just think there's a lot to like about him. He's, like I said, he's improving through a road. He's gotten better with each and every start, and I love that he came back last time off a long layoff and, ran another career best effort. That doesn't always happen. It tells me he's taken that step forward from 2 to 3, and he's working really well since then. I think there's enough pace to set up for him. He should get that second flight trip, and if I get anywhere near 6-1, it'll be a nice, healthy win bet on him because I do think he's the obvious alternative to the favorite on the inside.
I like it. My best bet is also a win bet, and it's also on a 5, but it's not the same race. I'm going with a win bet in race 7 on South Bay, who I've just been basically ranting about after she broke her maiden. That was actually the same day I actually did the seminar with Frank, so I actually didn't love her a ton. I thought maybe she needed one, and she won that day, and she won impressively. So I'm going to come right back with her, and I do like her chances quite a bit on Saturday. As I throw up the final banner, I think we can go ahead and wrap things up. I know they're kind of wrapping up here at Kentucky Downs. Ryan, any final thoughts for this weekend?
I hope you guys, crush this tournament. I don't know what's going on over there. But other than that, closing weekend at Del Mar's, 3 awesome days of racing. I think we're at a little over 320 total runners for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So fist pump from Jackson shows that something good happened. So I'll throw it to him for parting thoughts.
I finally picked the winner. Noah's been giving me a hard time for the last 4 hours. Losing and losing.
The 8 win? My was cutting in and out.
Yeah, the 8-1. So that was the horse we threw in last second because we could afford it. So. Good ad.
Let's go.
So we need you guys, it'll be over by the time this goes out. We need the 10 or 12 and the mile and a halfers.
Go 10-12.
Are either of those Mike Maker?
Probably not.
And does Mike Maker have a runner in the field?
One of them is actually a Wesley Ward trained Victor Espinoza ridden mile and a half horse. So
good.
And the other one's British Isles. So. British Isles, baby. Need one of those two for a decent score. But Jackson, any parting thoughts before we wrap up this taped episode?
No, enjoy doing these shows with y'all. Been a fun summer at Del Mar. Looking forward to seeing y'all at Keeneland though.
Great.
Yep.
Awesome. This has been a taped episode 44, Pacific Horseplayers, with myself, Jackson, and Ryan, covering the Del Mar closing weekend, Saturday, pick 6, not late pick 6, at Del Mar. And of course, even though it's taped, we still got to do it. PHP out.
Nice.